first of all, why don't you introduce yourselves to everybody since they don't know you guys yet, but they know me.
I'm Ray Everston from RG Travels, and that is our operations director, John Heinrich. We are a concierge online travel advisor, and we do specialized group bookings for influencers as well as talent and their followers that range anywhere from quilting to embroidery to gardening, museums, things like that. And we are based in Florida, but again, we're an online business.
The one thing he always forgets to say, and I'm John Heinrich, the operations director, he always forgets to say that we're both military veterans. I'm an Army veteran, and he's, the other branch.
Oh, the Air Force, that's right. Air Force, go Air Force.
People love
Really
to
doesn't
know
matter.
that. They love to know that they're supporting veterans. So that's definitely good to mention. So how did you guys get started in this? I know that travel agencies are, with online booking, everybody kind of is enabled more so than in the past to do their own thing. So what made you want to specialize and create these kind of trips for people?
Well, it's an interesting story, and it's very recent. We've had the travel advisor concierge business on the side for years. It was started back in 2015, and we basically had it on the side just for friends and family. John, by trade, was a real estate agent, and I was working for the airlines as well as a account exec for Intuit as well as Estee Lauder doing corporate travel. And when we had that big thing that happened that we all just recovered from, the shutdown, COVID shutdown, that is when the business really, believe it or not, was one of the positive things that happened to us, because during that time, we all got laid off and everybody was saying we're going to be coming back, and that had a lot of time then to discover what certain things was. I'd always heard what YouTube was, but never really got into it. And I asked John, I said, what is this YouTube thing? So with all the extra time we had, I did investigations and I started seeing what YouTube was all about. Influencers like yourself and people that are following them. And I got the idea, what if I reach out to some of the people and see if they'd be interested in meeting their followers and traveling with their followers. So our first trip was in August of 2021, and it was a river cruise from Memphis to Nashville. And we had an influencer on there with followers for quilting. And that's how this all started.
It's always funny when he says, I go on this thing called YouTube. Sometimes the smartest people in the world are some of the clueless people in the world because they didn't even know about YouTube. So it's just a family joke.
So we are going on a cruise from Florida to Western Europe and England. So that's really exciting and definitely a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm very excited to be a part of it. Have you done this route before? I know you guys are traveling all the time. You're like, oh, I'm in this time zone and that. So like where have you done this one before?
No, we haven't. We haven't done the transatlantic. This is a transatlantic where we leave from Fort Lauderdale. We use the Southern Atlantic route going up to the Azores and then stopping off in Cork, Ireland, then Belgium, and then England. So we're really excited about it. And it's on one of the Edge class ships with Celebrity called the Celebrity Apex. And we are really excited about experiencing this. And it's giving a big opportunity for everybody just because you have days at sea where you can spend time in doing what your favorite thing is. And for your case, that's quilting.
And you guys are working with vendors to bring on sewing machines so that hopefully folks don't have to bring their own with them. And we get to have all this class time with the instructors. So I'm really looking forward to that. I just finished designing my pattern this morning for it.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to get to see people because let's see. Well, we used to do in-person like trade shows across the country. And it would just be me in my very old minivan and a rented U-Haul traveling stuff with, whatever pre-cuts we had and kits all across the country. And then I was pregnant in 2019 and due in early 2020. So we'd made the decision that we weren't going to do shows. because, you know, you can't do that with a newborn in tow. And that ended up being a wise decision. But I haven't seen people in person in like 3 years. It'll be 4 years by the time this happens. So it'll be really exciting to get to see people like in real life. So
Yeah, that's 8 days. You're 8 days at sea, so 8 days of classes where everybody has access to you and to your specialties on what you're doing.
well, and I know I'm teaching a 6-hour class and doing a lecture, and so is everybody else. But like, what are the other opportunities that folks are going to have to hang out with all of us?
Well, there's also we have exclusive group dining as well as certain meet and greets where people are doing the trunk shows as well as just spending time with their favorite teacher and having access. It's a very unique situation because you have access and you have the venue to do it with, you know, maybe the different lounges that are on board because there's beautiful lounges with beautiful venues to see out into the open ocean or where we're traveling into a port. And it's just a beautiful, yeah, it's just like being in your living room, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
With
The
your
other
best
thing,
friend.
oh yes, exactly. Your best friend that you met online and have watched forever and now get to hang out with.
Mhm.
One of the things that I've kind of appreciate that you guys do is you can handle it all. Like people can make their own bookings, or you guys can, you know, handle all their flight transformation, flight information, their transfers, all of that. And the other thing that I appreciated when you were explaining pricing to us was that you make sure that everything is included so that there's no, you know, surprises at the end. Because I know that cruising especially can have a big surprise at the end if you don't know what all is getting added to your room when you get on there. So to me, it's kind of like I flew Spirit Airlines one time because it was really cheap. And then I realized that by the time I paid for all the other stuff that you get nickeled and dined with, I really was just smashed in a sardine can and paid the same price when I could have been more comfortable doing something else. So how does maybe talk a little bit about how that works for you guys and how you can help everybody through that?
Well, just with all our group, special group, exclusive group cruises, we tend to put everything together in a way that you get everything. Like on this particular cruise and this cruise line, Celebrity Cruises, the pricing already includes gratuities, which is basically words for tipping for your housekeeping staff, etc., as well as beverages. Everybody likes to at least have water, bottled water, juices, sodas, but our package also includes, if you would like to partake into beers, wines, and liquors, up until $10. And it's a very interesting, how would you say that, John? It's like it's up to $10 per drink, but if you're one that likes to have something that's a little more expensive and it may be $11 or $12, you're only responsible for that extra $2. Or once we're on board the cruise, is when we usually tell people once you see what you're getting, if you feel like upgrading to a premium package, you can. But our basic package includes all of that. And it's like what you said, Stephanie, it avoids that nickel and diming that you get because there are some other cruise lines that's what they do. And as soon as you walk on board the ship, they're trying to upsell you. Unfortunately, that is not something that I like to partake in. And when I get on a cruise ship, I already want to know basically what I'm getting and know that the service I'm getting on board is exactly what it's supposed to be. We have the capabilities of doing airfares, travel insurance, and I'll let John explain travel insurance a little bit more about that because that is something very important when you're leaving the country. We also will do the transfers. Basically, we're the concierge. When you are ready to go, everything has been taken care of for you. Or you have the option to do the flights yourself. And there are people that like to do that, and we respect that. But have access to all of you, have access to Stephanie, you yourself on the cruise, people have to book the cruise portion with us.
To get back real quick, with the classic beverage package that's included in your cruise fare, we do have people that say, I don't drink alcoholic beverages. Well, every soda, every soft drink on the ship costs money. So you don't have to go out and get the additional drink package just for sodas because it's already included in your cruise fare with us. Additionally, when it comes down to travel insurance, if you have a pre-existing condition, and you're still allowed to travel, you need to get your travel insurance within the first 14 days of your deposit, which will help cover that pre-existing condition if something happens during the cruise. Just remember that for the cruise fare price from a person from New York and cruise fare price from a person from California, those are going to be different because it's all based upon the state pricing of travel insurance. But we can take care of all of that.
To add to that too, some people are like a little hesitant to travel by themselves, and we want to make sure that everybody understands that when you travel with RG Travels and our groups, you're not traveling alone, because we escort all our trips and we are there and always looking in the background, trying not to hover, which we usually don't, but we also can tell if there possibly could be an issue that happens, and we intervene so that when the customer and yourself don't even know that there could have been an issue because it's already been resolved. And that's what's the nice thing about traveling with us about, because we're there, we're your advocates. We're going to handhold you all the way from the booking process, final payment, to talking about what's going to happen on the cruise, how to check in, because none of our people stand in line when you get to the port. That's one of our—
Except, well, excuse me. Yeah, the only time you stand in line is when you've made an excursion and you want to cancel it yourself. That's the only time you're going to stand in line. If we see you standing in line for something else, we're going to ask.
And for those that may be mobility challenged, I want you to be rest assured that even if you're mobility challenged, the ships are equipped to take care of that. So if you use a walker or you use a scooter or anything like that, we can assist with all of that. And there are cabins that are available to accommodate you. So please don't think that if you're mobility challenged, that's a reason why you can't go, because we make sure that you can go.
It sounds like so much fun. Like, I really cannot wait. Like, it's really a once in a lifetime, like traveling across the ocean on a cruise ship and then ending up in England and being able to go to Liberty of London. Like, that is on every quilter's bucket list. Like, that is amazing. It's such an exciting thing.
Yeah, the 3-day excursion, once we arrive in England, it is limited space, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to that because we've just finalized a lot of it. We're even having a Bridgerton type of tea time. Everybody loves Bridgerton, it seems, and we heard that we needed to do that, so we're doing that. And you get to see things in London, you get to see things, you get to see Stonehenge, and it's what happens with these trips is we've seen this happen, is like people start traveling together, they start to get to know, they get new friends, they get to know other people, they may have friends that are coming with them, they get to spend time, and the group just gels together. And what happens is they're looking forward to the next trip. And because they have a group that they're traveling, they're comfortable with, and they know that they're going to have a good time. And that's what cruising is all about. The entertainment is fantastic on these ships. They have Las Vegas style type of shows, comedians, magicians, the lounges, the venues on board the ship is just something that you can't, it's just something that you have to experience, and you know the differences between the cruise lines. And that's one thing that I will say. Food is the most important thing on a cruise, and there's plenty to be served on board a ship. And the quality that Celebrity does is beyond reproach with most of your mainline cruise lines. So that's why we specialize in utilizing them, because of their service as well.
I've cruised one time before when I was 21 or 22 with my parents, and it was a lot of fun. But I feel like the more fun thing about this is what you talked about, being able to make friends with the people that you're there in the group. And in the age of Facebook and social media, you can keep up with those people a lot easier than you could, 20 years ago when I was doing my cruise.
Absolutely. That's just it. A lot of people do the social media, and I don't know about you, but I've noticed in this time, people tend to text. They do everything via social media, but when you ask them, have you seen this person? No, not yet. Well, this is a great opportunity to do that and build new friendships and build upon those friendships And that's what it's all about, because the whole entire country, or basically the world, went through something almost for 2 years, over 2 years, where we all got disconnected. And that is something that needs to be reconnected and have that humanity again.
All right. What am I not asking about this cruise? What fun things do you have planned for us that I'm not covering?
Shore excursions. We didn't discuss shore excursions, John.
Yes, there are shore excursions.
Yeah.
Yeah, shore excursions other than our individual group excursion are on your own. This gives you the time because you're in Ponte Delgada, you're in Cork, you're in Portland and Dorset and Bruges. Those are the kinds of things that you may be the first time and only time you're ever going to be there. So we want you to experience those on your own and have a good time. You spent by that time 8 days with us. And I think from our experience, a lot of people say, well, you know, what are you going to do? And we say, well, if we go out, we'll walk off the ship by ourselves and do what we usually do and just visit things. A lot of people, when they get there and somebody says, well, I want to do this excursion, another person says, I want to do this excursion, they tend to separate themselves rather than just go and enjoying themselves, rather than being part of that individual group at that time.
And there's a lot of people that do tend to group together and then they do shore excursions together. Now, shore excursions are your additional cost on board of a ship. Everything else that we've talked about, food, beverages, Wi-Fi, gratuities, that's all included in your fare. The only other additional thing that you're going to have when you get on board of the ship is if you're going to be choosing to do a shore excursion with Celebrity. And you can do that or you can do it on your own. It's up to you, but just always keep in the back of your mind, which we always talk about as we get closer into when we do our group Zooms with the guests and things like that, is that if you're on a shore excursion with Celebrity, if you're late coming back to the port to get back on the ship will wait for you. If you're on your own with somebody else, it's not going to wait for you. It's going to be your own responsibility to get to the next port to board the ship.
I've seen those videos online where people are like stuck in their suits and they don't have a passport.
Yeah, and it does happen, and it does really happen. So that's what, but you know, you're always going to be reminded. It's not like you have to remember all this, because everything is hand spoon to everybody by the cruise line, by us. And it's just a great experience to experience the world with friends and doing something that they may enjoy, which is quilting.
Like you said, you can go out on your own if you want and just explore. I imagine all these port cities have plenty of touristy things to do. If you want to keep it budget wise, you just have to pay attention to that time on your own.
Absolutely. There is no must that you have to take an excursion. We just came off of a personal cruise to the Southern Caribbean, and we didn't do any shore excursions with Celebrity. All we did was just walk off the ship and enjoy the culture, the food, and just different views and everything that you see there. You do not have to do a shore excursion. It's all up to you. The cruise, basically, once you get on board, it's about what you want to do. If you don't want to see us at dinner time, you don't have to. But we have that capability that is capable, that is available to you to come and enjoy dinner with everybody, the teachers, us, and the other group. But if you want to go do something on your own one night or a couple of nights, all up to you. It's your cruise.
The other thing we haven't talked about is what we get to do before we get on the boat. And if you book before January 15th, this is going to be included in your price, right?
Right. And that's what they call the pre-cruise hotel and shop hop. And that basically means that we leave on the 2nd of May. You arrive on the 1st of May. You overnight in in the hotels that we have booked. And then we meet as a group there. We want to do dinner. We can do dinner there because we've noticed that a lot of people do that at that point. The next morning, we actually get picked up by a Celebrity-provided deluxe motor coach, and we visit 2 quilt shops in Fort Lauderdale. And we basically do our shop hop, and all the teachers will be there. And you get to shop if you need anything that you may have forgotten. supplies or anything like that. And these shops usually have a lot of special things planned for the group because that's what they did with us for the Panama Canal, because they're really honored to meet everybody, meet all the personalities, the teachers, and they give a lot of swag away as well. And then we get dropped off at the ship. So that's all part of the shop hop. It's included on that, and that's from.
But that's only if you end up doing the $1,500 retreat.
Right.
Yes. If you don't do the retreat, it's a different price to get there, but it's still
Correct.
discounted.
It's still available and it can be done individually. And then for those that are traveling with somebody that doesn't want to go on the shop hop with them, the hotel and the transfer, there's another hotel and transfer available for them.
Well, that's good to know. I'm excited. I love going and visiting different shops and seeing like what's in, because even within the same city, you can have vastly different fabrics that are stocked within a shop, which is exciting because everyone has
I just like watching the groups when they go into a shop. It's like, it's like, well, it's Christmas, no matter what time of year it is.
Absolutely. And it's vacation money, so it doesn't count as part of your budget.
There you
And
go.
it's fun.
Absolutely.
I always remember when I was buying fabric, my reps in the middle of the US, they would be like, oh, this is a Florida fabric. This one's Florida. So you might get to see some of the fabrics that you don't normally see where you're at too, which is kind of fun.
It really is. We've noticed, we've done more than one of these, and it's just a real great experience for the participants when they're doing the shop hop as well.
Well, and I've very much learned the hard way, the importance of flying in the day before you're supposed to do something. The last time I traveled down to Quilt Market, I was supposed to take my daughter to breakfast with an astronaut at like 7 a.m. the next day, and my connecting flight got canceled. And so I either was going to have to wait until 3 o'clock when miss my book signing at Quilt Market and breakfast with an astronaut, or I drove 5 hours in the middle of the night through a highway that I later realized was nicknamed the Texas Killing Fields with my then 7-year-old daughter in the backseat. And I'm like, this was not the best of decisions, but she made it. And now she wants to be a software engineer at NASA. So, it all worked out. But definitely having that buffer just in case anything goes wrong with your flight is absolutely worth it to come in on that first. Yeah.
Absolutely. And we always suggest that, but you will have people, and it's okay, that will fly in the same day.
Yeah.
And then we have
beware.
We have certain things in place for that.
Yeah.
For those that would like to do that, we say you can, but let us take care of the flights with Celebrity, because if something should happen to the flight, it's canceled or delayed. It's Celebrity's responsibility to get the guests
on the boat.
Yeah, and most of the time they delay the ship. So
I imagine that. I mean, it's not like you can just get to the next port because the next port is 7 days away.
Right.
So that's going to be that's highly important to either do the day before or book through Celebrity. But yes. Well, I'm super excited about it. What are some of the fun stories you've had as you've traveled with quilters and other crafters on these? What sort of things have you observed, and with friendships being made and things like that? What stands out in your mind?
Oh, roommates.
Yeah. The daily run to dinner to get the seats they like sitting in, only those.
Yeah.
and if somebody gets in that seat, they go, and then they shuffle over.
That's funny.
Roommate situations always are hilarious at times.
It's nice to see when two people, we have an opportunity. If people are looking for roommates, that's what the Facebook group is for. And how we handle that is usually we ask each person if it's okay to share their email address, because we introduce them via email, and then we let them talk to each other. And after a few days, if they see that they want to go ahead and be roommates, they do that. And we have found that there's some people, we have one friendship that started in 2021 or 22, and they've been on 3 trips already, and they met as being roommates. And it's nice to see how they just connect and they spend time together, and then they're also trying to expand that friendship with other people. I think that is the greatest thing to see when you're traveling with a group.
Well,
Our
Chantel,
la-
they are a riot, so we should bring some fun to the whole experience.
Oh, absolutely.
We have been having fun together since we were like 19 and 20, so it'll be a good time. And we get to get away from our children and life responsibilities for a little while, so we're gonna have a
Well,
very
and that's something to think about. That's something to think about for this cruise. There's maybe the people that have been married for many years and they do their own little thing here. Or there's also some people that want to make this a family vacation and they do. We've seen that happen as well. And on our Hawaii trip, it was like a trip of a group of 8 people that all of a sudden it was a family reunion. And they even brought their grandkids into the quilting classes. So that was quite interesting to see. That is available as well. Is a cruise is what you make of it.
my almost well my 9-year-old, she'll be 10, but she turns 10 while we're on the cruise, so I'm gonna bring her back a cupcake from a YouTuber who's in London, has a cupcake shop that we used to watch all the time, so that's her treat. It's right by Liberty of London. It's called Crumbs and Doilies, and so I'm gonna get one of those to bring back to her for her birthday. But she's like, Mom, can I come on the next one? So
Absolutely.
he very much wants to go. And I was like, can you sit still and realize that I'm teaching everyone and I'm not just your mom in that moment? She's like, yeah, I can do that. I'm like, we'll see.
How old is she?
She's 9. She'll be
Oh,
turning 10 when we're on the cruise. But she has already designed a quilt that is actually going to be in my next book. And so she sews, but her attention span, she can do it for like an hour. And then she's on to something else.
that's
So
okay because there are children activities on the
I
ship.
did hear that. Yes. And I
Yes.
was like, well, honey, you might just have to go to some of those things if you get bored.
You know what the funny thing is? We've noticed that the cruise lines, they have like kid programs, teenage programs, toddler programs, all those different ages. And the people that are doing the activities and basically entertaining the kids and things like that, they're all degreed specifically for that. And we have found that kids are having such a good time, they don't even want to come back to parents. So be prepared for that.
Oh, yes. Maybe if all goes well and you invite me back during a non-school time,
Yep.
we
And I
should.
want a cupcake from that place too. So you're gonna have to remind me of that.
Yes, Crumbs and Doilies. It's with a 4-minute walk from Liberty of London.
Okay.
And Cupcake Gemma is a YouTuber, and we watched that all the time when she was like 4 and 5. And then we would go make that week's recipe, and so we got to be very good bakers doing that. And we have all our swag, but she's never gotten to eat a Cupcake Gemma cupcake that's like from the legit place. So
Okay. I look forward to that. I love cupcakes.
I think I emailed you. I was like, I want to stay in that hotel and have a late flight out so that I can go get a cupcake that day and then bring it with me on the flight home. But that's
I
my
want,
goal.
I want that too. Now you're reminding me about that cupcake, Gemma. That's why I just wrote that down. Like,
There you
okay.
go.
Sugar
Cupcake
fiend,
Gemma on YouTube.
sugar fiend.
Yes.
Mhm.
But she's brownies too.
Oh,
And
brownies.
cookies. Yes.
England doesn't do brownies and cupcakes. That's really American.
It's Cupcake Gemma. And then the most gorgeous cakes. Yeah, you gotta go check her out.
Make sure we have extra time there. But there's 3, it was 2 hours at Liberty of London. I'm gonna be at the cupcake shop.
You could take a
We'll work.
4-minute walk to go get a cupcake.
Absolutely.
That'll be good. Thank you so much for inviting me to come on this. It really is very exciting and came at kind of a fun time to have something exciting because my life has been a little chaotic this year. And so this is a really fun thing to look forward to.
Absolutely. It's the phoenix in the rising, as they say.
Yes,
And that's what you're going through. And we would love to have your followers come join us and experience this once in a lifetime experience.
for sure. So come book by the 15th. You can do the shop hop for free and then hang
It
out.
includes your hotel if you do
Yes.
the Sew retreat at sea.
Yes, that'll be fun. And that's a separate price from the actual cruise, correct?
That is correct.
Okay,
And
that's
it was done that way so that people that do not sew have the opportunity to also enjoy the cruise
and do other things.
and do other things because there's plenty of things to do. On average, there's 40 to 60 things to do a day on a ship.
That
Right.
is, I think, good to know because I know like when I originally pitched this to my parents in an attempt to get them to watch my children, I was like, how about one of you come with me and one of you watch the children? And they were like, one of us is getting the raw end of that deal. And then the second thought was, which one, what am I going to do while you're teaching? And I was like, what couldn't you do? There's so many things.
Oh, there's so many things to do. You know, we'll have to get them to go on the next one.
Maybe they said if
Certainly.
it was like a Caribbean, they would have just booked it immediately to come with, and then I still would have needed someone to watch my children, but they would have come with. Oh, but oh well.
Okay, cool.
All right. Well,
That's
thanks
it.
so much. And
Thank you.
you want to all say happy quilting at the same time?
Happy quilting.
Happy
Happy
quilting.
Happy quilting.
You two have to behave yourselves. You two.
People like that when they see that.
Oh, the dogs.
Mhm.
I know. Well, there's 3. So you've seen 2 so far.